of anything.
Hey, we're live. Hello.
How's it going, folks?
Yeah, good
Does this
evening.
work?
Good super early morning. Welcome to episode 19 of Once Upon a Game, uh, a kind of story game variety show where we set things on fire over the course of the night, fictionally and sometimes literally, but mostly fictionally. So, for anyone who's new, thanks for tuning in here. This is a story game variety show where we feature indie RPGs that are mostly GM-less or prep-less, but at the very least, they involve sharing the fictional and creative authority around the table. So the most important thing in these games, if you never heard of them or don't know the rules or anything, that's totally fine. Because the most important thing is that you're excited and you came here with an open mind and you want to play. Because I will be your facilitator tonight for tonight's game, and tonight's game is called Downfall. And I know the rules well enough that we can carry the game around together. Now, just because I know the rules and I'm the facilitator, that doesn't mean that I have any particular power over the direction of the game or anything like that. All I can do is just tell you the rules. So, before we get into Downfall and what is Downfall exactly, how about I introduce my two guests here tonight? So, starting with Zethro here on my fictional left.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zeth Rohan. I'm a fellow streamer. I host a show, Ichigeki, that's on Sundays from 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We feature a lot of indie alternative RPGs. In fact, Eric came on my stream once, played an awesome character on Lasers and Feelings.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
But yep, that's why I'm here, because Eric's an awesome
Yes,
GM and character.
yeah. I know my streaming time's not always the best for a lot of people, especially folks on the East Coast. So I'm super excited for Zethro to make the time to stay up late for us tonight. So Zethro, hearts to you, man. Thanks for coming here. And now to my other guest is a veteran gamer and game designer. Although,
You give me way too much
yeah,
credit.
well, it's still it's a working title. Nick, how are you, man?
Hello, I am good. I am Nicholas Willett. I do not do the streaming things and have no knowledge of how to do those. I have not played Lasers and Feelings and am not an awesome character by most accounts. But I'm here. So we'll see what
You
happens.
don't give yourself
Maybe
nearly
something
enough
good'll.
credit. Not
No, I
nearly
don't.
enough credit, man.
Humbleness is a good thing to have on the stream.
Yeah. So, uh, that's fine. So let's before we begin, there's one kind of rule that I like to play with. It's sort of a safety valve or an emergency brake for all our story gaming, and that's called the X card. If you're ever uncomfortable about something or the way the game, either direction that the game's taking, or someone introduced something that you're not really okay with and possibly triggering, let me know. Either whisper me, say it, whatever you feel comfortable with. And if you need me to exit out, just say it, and we'll like magic. We'll remove it. And because we're mature, we trust you, and we won't have to ask you why. Like you don't have to justify why you're removing something. It's just that we trust you. So if you know those talking alligators, they gotta go. They're out of here. So are we okay with that, everybody?
Stellar.
As
Awesome.
always.
Awesome. Okay, good. Good. So let's begin our game of Downfall. So, as always, Downfall starts with a black screen, like in the movie theater, and then we hear this sort of like Lord of the Rings narrator voice come on and says, "Our home is breaking, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. We built a flawed society, and soon it will destroy itself. Though most of us can't perceive the coming doom, a hero arises to fight against the impending collapse. Downfall is a story of how we try to save our society and ourselves and fail." So, boom. That's what Downfall is. We will be setting up a society like a bonfire, and then when we start playing, we're going to watch it burn. So, it's a really fun game. This is like my third time playing it on stream. I've played it twice in person, one time with the actual designer, who's also really cool. If you want to get a copy of this game, I will link the direction to get the game in the show notes. So, with that being said, let's begin. So, guys, the first thing we do when we create our society that we're going to destroy is we have to define the flaw. And the flaw is sort of like the corruption at the heart of our society that is going to be its downfall. So, a flaw, before we even get to like what our society is or how it's structured or anything like that, it's just an actual like thematic or like a philosophical kind of point. So the book gives you a list of examples here, like ambition, complacency, cowardice, greed, racism, materialism, vanity. If any of those sound interesting, go ahead and let us know. Otherwise, we can reflect here a little bit. And I know there are also alternatives, like alternative flaws to play with. However, because you guys are first-time downfallers, and that's sort of like an advanced kind of thing, we're gonna avoid doing a positive flaw and how it changes, just for this time. But I would be definitely excited to have you guys on again sometime and us examine a positive flaw and watch it kind of get subverted. So
I think the one that's jumping out to me the most is cowardice.
yeah, okay. I'm down with cowardice.
What you thinking with that?
Like I guess I'm defining cowardice in this context as the failure to act,
Hmm.
or I guess giving in to fear of some sort. So I think from there that could springboard to a couple other places.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm thinking. For me, cowardice is the most an important part of cowardice is knowing that you're choosing the coward way. Like
Hmm.
you see, you're not taking the easy way, or you're not taking the hard way. Like the way that you know you have to do, you're deliberately avoiding it.
Hmm.
Cowardice is you take the easy way, you take the selfish way, because you can't stand up and admit or own up to something. You're always afraid of the consequences, for doing so, even if it means netting everybody more so than yourself or anything like that, right? Like the math equation doesn't work
Hmm.
out right.
Hmm.
I think that for me, that's in a kind of a roundabout way. That's what I think of as cowardice.
Just taking the easy way out, yeah. Because if you look at some sort of like binary morality systems in games, usually the easier path is the one that is more immediately rewarding, but is the one that doesn't require you own up to the challenges to face the harder path.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's more immediately gratifying than long term.
Yeah, it's a little bit more so than just like straight up myopia. It's
Mhm.
it's it's more like, yeah, like you're just delayed. I don't know.
No, I like that kind of segue into that knowledge of what is the right path and deliberately avoiding it.
Yeah, because
Because
it's hard.
Mhm.
Or it means that you have to
you have
own
to
up
like
to, yeah,
sacrifice something.
sacrifice something, and you won't.
There's just more effort there.
Yeah, like you have to pay for it, and you're avoiding it at all costs, right? It's like you just spent a bunch of money, and you're afraid to look at your statement or something. It's like
Hitting home there.
because like you're afraid
But yeah,
because you know the consequences are there, and if you avoid it,
mhm.
then it's not a problem, even though
Yeah,
it
because
totally is.
ignorance
Right?
ignorance is bliss. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like it's trying to ascend to ignorance, but
Mhm.
because you know that you're doing wrong and you're just hoping to be ignorant, like the ignorant
Yeah.
option still exists. I think that's a yeah. Knowing it is kind of a key point for cowardice.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, I think we kind of know what we're doing here. So the next part after we picked our flaw is that we're going to pick elements here. And elements are sort of like our palette or kind of and are going to serve as our springboard for our society. They are supposed to be very like natural occurring kind of things or man-made occurring kind of things. They're not. They don't have to be literal. For example, ink is an element on here, and in two different games, one of the examples in the book is ink is a river that flows black, and in a real life version with Carolyn Hobbs, our ink was actually oil. So
Mhm.
they can just be figurative kind of ideas. So we're supposed to do this separately. without collaborating what we're going to choose. So I'm gonna write the flaw actually on the screen here, and then while I'm doing that, you guys come up with what we want to do, and I'm gonna switch over to the screen here for our lovely
And we're
viewers
only
to see.
choosing one element, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Good question. All right. Have we come up with what we want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
Who wants to start? Who wants to do the first reveal?
I'll go ahead. I'm thinking death for the first one, because death is something that's just interesting to me with the whole cowardice thing. It's kind of what jumps out to me most immediately. And not even in the obvious sort of, where you could take cowardice and death and associate them, but just finding a way to play on the two. I think that's kind of interesting. And I am probably taking it a little bit literally here, so perhaps death is some sort of thing to be kind of revered in the society, like escaping to death in some
Well,
way.
we might be getting a little too far ahead.
Oh, am I? Oh,
Yeah.
God, I always...
No, it's okay. We have to come up with the other two
All right.
elements first.
That is my element.
Okay.
Before I jump ahead.
Zetho, would you like to go or should I go?
I would like to go.
Okay.
So the thing that I was looking at that really jumped out to me was echo.
God damn it.
We're just on the same wavelength right here.
All right, I had an alternate as well. So explain echo maybe a little bit. Just what do you think of when you think of echo?
Like when I think of echo, so when I think of echo, like I think of something that's reflected back, but it's kind of a pale imitation of what
Yeah.
it, because there's like a decay.
Simulacrum kind of thing.
Exactly, like a decay coming from the echo. Just that disconnect.
What do you call it? What do you call it when you like it's like when you copy a file and you over and over and over again and
Yeah,
it gets
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, I forget what you call it. Like loss, packet loss. I don't remember. Anyways, mine was islands.
Interesting.
All right.
When I think of islands, I think of for individuality, as well as sort of like a loose network, like a confederacy or like an archipelago. When I think of islands, I think of like a strong sort of self-sustainingness, a little bit of isolation, a little bit of like existentialism, as well as sort of maybe being, since it's plural, solidarity with things near you as well that are equally.
Like a confederacy of individuals, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we have chosen our elements. Now we get to define our setting. So together we're going to brainstorm the setting, and we're going to spend a few minutes describing how each of these elements are going to define the world kind of together. We're going to make sure we're going to use all three of these elements in our setting, but we don't want to talk about the culture just yet, because that will be defined in our
Okay.
traditions.
All right.
So this is more just like landscape, maybe the type of place we're living in, or whatever. And hi Epper. Nice. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, I'm still not going to try to attempt to say your full name, but thank you so much for tuning in, my friend.
Is that
Hey, Epper.
Yeah, Eperogene. All right.
Rogane.
Eperogene. Oh, like okay, yeah. Eperogene. Gene. Damn it. I'll get it. I promise.
I stumbled like 5 bajillion times.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Epero. Okay.
Words on the stream are
So-
difficult.
So, what are we thinking for our setting here?
I had an idea, and you guys can like agree or disagree.
Mhm.
But my thought was, so you have these islands, and it's kind of like a simulated afterlife for people.
So it's like virtual,
Kind of like, yeah, like a virtual afterlife.
like a virtual world kind of
So
thing.
it would be like towers filled with all these people's consciousness. Kind of like this battery of different like consciousnesses that all these people are living this sort of simulated afterlife inside them.
So kind of like the Matrix for dead people.
Matrix for dead people in a way, but it
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
like
And
I think I get a little bit what you mean, but I don't think I understand the island part or like
so
that. So like
each
a Borg
tower.
cube, basically, like the idea that everybody exists inside this sort of headspace.
yeah, I think.
Within each tower, and each tower is like a different version of a different afterlife kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's cool. What was the third element? I just forgot.
I was thinking
Echoes.
I was thinking a couple different things. One of them I was thinking was sort of like a post-apocalyptic world where survivors of somewhere have or like basically like the story of refugees coming over to the next place because they don't have their society anymore and they're trying to rebuild somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So sort of like an echo of their previous destroyed society,
And kind of like a
as well as
death wish.
as well as there being obviously like a basically like the imperialism kind of thing. But maybe that's too cultural. I'm getting into it, but the idea that there's people are trying to settle a land that because they lost their homeland.
No, I like that actually. And the
Um,
death aspect of it could be not necessarily like, the death of people due to the post-apocalypse, but kind of the
yeah,
death of their
The
own
death of
life.
culture. Yeah.
yeah, their death of their yeah, like without describing what the culture is, just the
Right, but
yeah
something that had died before that got them to where they are.
yeah.
I'm kind of imagining
Hmm.
a sort of a city based in an open kind of canyon, going with sort of the echo element. That's just
Hmm.
split into a bunch of different sort of going with what Eric said, a bunch of separate sort of socio ideological enclaves that are left over from that post apocalypse that are each kind of open, but they work with each other in a sort of loose confederacy in this big sort of open canyon area.
Hmm.
Ooh, like a valley, like a massive
Hmm.
valley.
With like a lot of verticality, a lot of tiers to it, maybe
Hmm.
some sort of forest blanketed in a deathly mist that people sort of hallow.
Um,
That was my thought.
That's interesting.
so I want to talk about Zethro's idea. So like sort of like the tech after like you know,
Hmm.
sort of like the I guess it's probably like post transhuman like singularity kind of thing. Then
Yeah.
so then do people still exist inside of these sort of like spaces? Like what
I
is the
guess
aftermath? I'm just trying to think how the game would actually look if we were describing that because it seems like we would live in like you would have the Matrix problem where you have like part of its reality, part of it's not like the virtual space, or is it entirely the virtual space? Like what are you thinking?
so like there is the physical space that's like maintained by humanity that's still alive. And then you'd have the virtual space where all the deceased would go into.
What if you what if you
Oh,
meld the two
they're
and
like totems.
Yeah, basically, they're
oh
like
okay.
totems, but filled with
Like
actual
yeah,
consciousnesses
so
and
you like
stuff.
commune with the dead.
Hmm.
Through like these. So oh my god, that is incredibly like cyberpunky. Like you have yeah like ghosts of your ancestors. Like
Hmm.
you download their consciousness into like a data bank or whatever, and you can like
Data
talk to
point.
them.
Yeah.
I kind of cribbed the idea from this manga I was reading, Spirit Circle. They have this entire similar scenario to that.
Yeah, I mean I definitely get an idea. What is that? Is that what's the religion where you consult your ancestors? I forget. Is this Shaoism?
Um, hmm. It's not. It's
I
not.
could give you regions, but I don't know names.
Hey, yep. Arthur, love you, man. You send my regards. Love you, buddy. Thank you for the host. So,
But
Death.
I'm liking that idea.
What if Okay. What if we do it in a What if we combine all of our ideas?
Hmm.
Hmm.
What if we do a scenario where people are like landing on a new planet? They're survivors of something, and this is basically their data banks or whatever, or they have left of their culture.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
they get scattered across this gulch or this valley.
Hmm. and they
All
end
right.
up setting up their sort of
Yeah,
cultural
Ideological on
totems there.
yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
and their totems. Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
digging it.
Basically, survivors land. Yeah, like enclaves form, like at whatever their escape pods or whatever we want to say it is.
Hmm.
Like so that like future thing. And then not to mention possibly whatever exists currently on the planet, but that might be determined for the next step. But something
Yeah.
like that, we feeling like
Hmm.
that. So like there's
Yeah, like
limited,
future mysticism.
yeah, like limited
Right.
high tech, yeah, like future
Yes.
mysticism. I'm feeling this, yeah, awesome.
A little bit
Okay,
of techno regressivism. Yeah.
I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Awesome. So I'm feeling that setting. So the next part we get to do is we get to create our traditions, and we're gonna do this in two phases. The
Hmm.
first phase we're gonna do three traditions and then three more traditions. So the first thing we do with traditions, and the traditions are going to be our customs, beliefs, sort of just our ideas and our our just our values, and they're going to be expressed in a way that gets corrupted by the flaw, and we're going to have to explain how they get corrupted.
Hmm.
The book currently gives you once again a giant list to choose from. But if you have your own idea, please let me know. But examples of traditions for viewers, just to get an idea of what we're thinking of here, is architecture, art, employment, entertainment, fashion, hospitality, justice, military, relationships, religion, anything that can be turned into to have a custom or a tradition tied to.
I'm not seeing it on here. Are we already to this step?
Uh,
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind me going first, I'm not seeing it on here, but I think technology might be a pretty good category to put on. Uh,
How do you mean?
well, I'm trying to differentiate between from architecture, but
Yeah, I feel like technology might be a meta kind of category.
maybe. Because I'm trying to think with the whole sort of techno mysticism thing we have going on. Maybe it took them the culture, like centuries and centuries or even millennia to reach the planet where they're at, and maybe they've sort of lost the knowledge of how to use certain sorts of technology, and they kind of hold a certain reverence
Yeah,
for what
yeah.
they
oh,
They
have in their
can't man. Yeah,
possession.
exactly. Like it's limited, it's scarce now, and so it's like it has a sort of scare.
Right.
What do you call it? Yeah, just value to it.
Yeah. It just has this sort
It's
of
not
assumed
replaceable.
value.
Yeah.
Right.
like that whole Arthur C. Clarke thing. Like any technology far enough into the future is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much
Pretty
so.
much.
Yeah, that it's.
And the people have regressed enough to the point where they just see almost any sort of technology beyond the basic
Yeah.
as hyper advanced
Yeah.
or magical.
So I think you're operating in the right headspace, but I think you need to narrow it down to a specific
Okay,
category
let me
because I
see.
feel like exploring that is definitely going to be a big part of this game. But I think we
I was
have
try I
to
was trying to see if that could
find
be
a
its
better
own
yeah
thing.
just find a better lens to express that than just technology
Uh,
overall.
I've got something.
Okay, Zethar, let's start with you. All you
So,
have to do first is just name the category.
okay, architecture.
Okay. All right. I will go. Or Nick, do you have
I'm
do you have a
trying to.
category?
I'm narrowing it down between
Yeah.
two.
This was the problem is that you have. I think you have the next step, but you're having trouble
Yeah, I'm
finding
trying to
the
figure out where to categorize this as.
yeah.
So go ahead.
Totally. I was going to go with hospitality.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll do religion because I think that's closer to what I'm trying to aim at.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that'd
feel
be
that.
interesting.
Okay. Zethro, how about you lead off with the next part? So once we come up with architecture, now we're going to come up with sort of the tradition itself of what gets represented. So this tradition you're going to come up with has to deal with architecture and has to express how the flaw is part of it.
Okay, so what I was thinking was that because they're so acclimated with their existing culture, that they would rather. Well, but then that kind of relates to tradition and not necessarily cowardice. I guess. Well, what I was thinking is that they try and ape the structures that they have from
Hmm.
their culture,
Hmm.
and they're trying to build it using the materials that are available to them, but they end up being this kind of like flawed garbage because the materials that they're using on the planet don't seem to
Yeah.
support the structures they have in
Yeah,
mind. But that
you're
seems
like
Yeah.
trying to fix an iPad with wood.
Right.
exactly.
Like, you know. Yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't seem like cowardice to me.
Well,
That
I
just seems
think
like
I think I
tradition.
see what you're getting at. Instead of adapting themselves to the environment and the resources they have available, they try to take the easy
Yeah.
way
Or
by
They're afraid of, yeah.
they are afraid of going outside of their little gulch to
yeah,
get
they're
new
trying to
resources.
conform their resources to a mold that doesn't fit
Yeah.
them.
So, their
That's it.
architecture is in a way that always reflects their previous society.
Or it's just too focused on it.
Yeah.
It's too caught in that box.
Is that a
Not
way
a
if you want to
visual
phrase
as
it?
well.
Yeah. It's okay. Someone else, I think, will be doing that.
Okay. Okay.
Reflective
Good luck.
of, yeah. So I'm going to say reflective of their lost civilization is what I would say.
Okay.
If you're okay with that description.
I'm okay with that description, yes.
Okay. Nick, would you like to go or should I go?
I think I can probably like sum this up. So going back to what I was thinking before, because the societies have regressed so far through so many millennia, they hold the technology of their ancestors in sort of a sense of mystical reverie as they hold their ancestors in a similar light. They see their ancestors as kind of like, deified god kings, and the technology is something so far beyond them. And so perhaps they periodically set up shrines of mishmash technology and just sort of pray at the feet of it for no particular reason, just perhaps asking to be blessed with the knowledge of their gods or
Like
something.
they're like bowing to a refrigerator or something like that.
Yeah, basically, they're just like, oh, mighty refrigeration unit.
They revere
You
technology.
preserve.
Yeah. They revere past technology that they don't understand.
Yes, that's a good way to frame it.
I can just imagine them bowing to like a potato peeler or
Oh,
something.
you
like
just gave me
that.
you just gave me the great yeah, I'm totally following that.
Great toaster of antiquity.
Yeah. Oh,
Bless
easy.
me with your
Oh,
bread.
easy bake oven.
Oh,
Grant me
mighty
thy
king,
brownies.
grant me thy ding.
That is
Bless
how
me
you
with
know
thy-
the service is over. So the hospitality following on that is they don't so each civilization they carry around what they consider ID cards, but they're color coded. They're like color coded. They're like access cards that they can still use for like some like door technology, and so different people won't answer. They won't. They won't like you. How should I phrase it? They're afraid of reaching out to people of other color types to them, or like basically they only are hospitable to their own based on their. I guess that's probably going too far. Because that's probably a symbol. I don't know. No, it's not.
No, not really.
Yeah. So hospitality is welcoming to those only with same color IDs. So I imagine it's sort of like a something that's probably left over, like some sort of vintage technology that they had that represented like engineering and the bridge and stuff like that, right?
I just got this amazing image of like a gigantic spaceship crash landing into a planet into this canyon, and like the canyon and the ship kind of merge in certain places due to the way
Yeah.
it crashed.
Hmm.
So that would explain
Oh
like
my god, yeah. I love it. No,
Uh-huh.
like imagine a ship like the size of like the Battlestar Galactica or whatever, and just like went right through the side of a Grand Canyon and broke up. So like half of it's in the canyon, like part of it's like sticking up outside the canyon, kind of stuff, and it's just like scattered and just pieces and debris all over this canyon.
and then hundreds of years later,
Yeah.
these cultures have developed as
Oh
a
yeah.
result of the bridge function
Think
they
of
were part of.
like the new Star Wars trailer. Like imagine living inside the crashed Star Destroyer right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Oh, that's a great. I see where you're going with that, Zethro. So, like, the engineering department would have like blue cards, so the military security department would like red cards or something. And
Exactly,
that's how they.
exactly.
Ah, yeah.
So exactly. So that's sort of like your hospitality is like, well, let me show your card,
Mhm.
and like depending on how you're feeling, you can be like, I'm going to need to see a red card, or like I'm going to need to see, they
Okay.
probably have lost their original meaning, but they,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Just maybe I'm not seeing it though. But how does
Being
that relate?
Eperogene, being
What do you mean?
colorblind in such a society must make you a pariah. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Don't be colorblind. Red, green. Oh, rip.
You're doomed.
Or
Here's your
everyone
black
thinks
card.
you're just really generous. All right. Cool. So now the next part that we're going to do is we're going to rotate each of these cards around the table, if you will. So the way it's going to work is that Zethro, you're going to come up with a symbol on Nick's card. Nick is going to create a symbol on my card. I'm going to make a symbol of your card. And this symbol is going to be the physical representation of your tradition in our society. It doesn't have to be an actual like physical thing. It could be a location. For example, the book that the book gives you is, for example, the president of the United States may have the Oval Office, which is sort of the symbol of executive authority.
Okay.
So something, but it has to be something physical, something located in time and space. Okay, so whoever has the first idea can go.
I got
Sure.
one.
Got it.
So, going back to that whole totem idea that we started off with, this would be kind of like the central data bank, you know?
Yeah.
That would be where like all the elders convene, where all like the heads of the different departments
Mm-hmm.
convene. And it's like the bank of all their ancestors' knowledge, all the cultural knowledge is right there
Yeah.
in that data bank. But that data bank, I don't know. I don't want to go too far with it, but
Do you want to do
that's,
the data bank itself or the server room that it's located in?
I would say the
Like the data banks?
the data banks itself, yeah.
Okay. What do they look like?
I would imagine kind of like a server room, and it has like a bunch of those like crazy,
Like server blades kind of things? Like those,
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's
Awesome.
like neon lighting and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is like in contrast to all the naturalistic, like there's
Yeah, I love
trees and
it.
stuff growing inside the
Mhm.
spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. Cool.
I have an idea if I'm not interfering with you, Eric.
No, go
Because I
ahead.
think it's
Go
awesome.
ahead.
Okay. So for the hospitality idea, I'm thinking that at some point, maybe in like, pubescence or adolescence or somewhere around there, all of the young members of a tribe have to descend into the bowels of the part of the ship itself where they dispensed those original kind of cards before for like new arrivals or new births on the ship, and they have to actually receive their color coded card from
Oh,
there, and it's
so-
kind of a rite of passage.
Oh my god, I love it. So how do I describe that though?
Uh, card
Yeah.
dispensary.
Cardagogy process?
Sure.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unified card
Earn
dispensary.
earn card as rite of passage.
Mhm.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm digging this setting.
Oh, me too. This is awesome,
is
guys.
rad.
This is super rad. Okay. So mine for the architecture, I'm just going to follow it in here. Uh, Basically, so this gonna I'm gonna kind of I'm not I guess it's not really cheating, but I like the idea that whether or not they work, people like to take parts of the ship in some sort of way of technology and kind of just place them near our door, particularly card readers near the front of their door. Whether or not they work or not, but the idea is that you put your card in or whatever, or like an RFID chip, like you put your card next to the door. It's like it's sort of like a custom that you do to go into a building.
Kind of
Right.
like the version of like a lucky cat that they have in like
Yeah,
Sims.
exactly. That you have that as part of your thing because like back then everybody had one, right?
Love
And
that.
the meaning is generally lost. But it's
Yeah,
still
but
there.
but everyone had one, so it's like
Yeah.
that's the architecture. So what do you call it? I'm gonna say card reader. even broke. I won't even say even broke. Card readers in on fronts of houses. Love it. Oh man, that's awesome. Oh my god, this is so cool. So now we get to do it again.
Okay.
So now we're going to try not to. You can repeat traditions, I think. Let me just make sure. After we create another tradition, this time we pass our traditions to the right and add a symbol. In the end, there should be a total of 6 completed traditions. Okay. Traditions. Think of a tradition related to the category you choose, then describe the tradition and explain it how it reflects the flaw. If you can't think of a reason why it embodies or exemplifies the flaw, think of a different tradition. Write it on the top half of your index card under the category and draw a line below it. Nah, I don't want to draw lines. Write as write as few words as necessary. Say what you say is more important than what you write. Yeah, that's a cornerstone of most story games. Other players can ask questions, but they shouldn't give suggestions. Nope, it doesn't say anything about repeating traditions, but I assume you shouldn't, unless it's up here.
Just for intrigue's purposes.
Yeah, I think yeah. To,
Oh,
like,
don't
flesh out
choose the
more.
same category as another player. There it is.
Alright,
It's in the first sentence. There we go.
Okay.
So, let's consult the giant list again. Actually, I'll bring this on screen for everybody to see. We're picking from this list. I hope I'm not violating any sort of rules or anything for showing this list. So,
Excuse me.
we chose architecture, we have chosen religion, and we have chosen hospitality. Have we all come up with something else that we want to choose?
I might. I wanted to ask Zethro one thing about the architecture thing. Or yeah. So the databanks thing that or not the architecture, the religion thing, the databanks thing you're considering. Are you viewing this as sort of a communal gathering place for all the separate totems, or just a universal storage space like a cloud? I'm trying to picture this.
I guess the way that I was envisioning it, so like you would have the main central one, it kind of aggregates all of them, but they're all like kind of spread out into distinct areas.
Okay, that's kind of what. So they can meet, quote unquote.
They
The
can
minds
meet
can
in the
meet.
central room, but
All right, all right. That gives me an idea of what I want to do then.
okay.
Um,
Hmm.
all right.
Oh man! By the way, say hi to Wee Wee Pee Wee and Dealer Umbra. What's up, man? Thanks
What's
for
up?
tuning in.
Thank you.
All right. So I think I know what I want to do for mine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write the tradition, or excuse me, the category up here.
Yep.
If you guys don't mind, me going first.
Go ahead.
Death.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be important.
That was my backup.
Let's see.
If you don't have one, Zethro, I'd like to go.
Yeah, I don't have one yet. Go ahead.
Communications.
That was my backup.
Mm.
We're thinking with portals here. We're on the same wavelength, guys. This is awesome. I love when we can start clicking like this. Awesome. Okay.
It's a discordant wavelength, but it's a
Yes.
wavelength.
No, that's the best part of story games. You don't want an echo chamber,
No.
because the point of story games is that we all kind of have a similar idea in our head, but our differences is what makes the game fun, because
Exactly.
that's how you get crazy twists.
Yeah.
Because what is obvious to you in your brain is not obvious in other players. That is the most rule number one of gaming. It's just speak what's on your mind and what's obvious, because you'll nine times out of 10, it's perfect.
I was gonna go with education.
Okay.
Nice. That was my tertiary. Yep. Death, communications, education were all the ones I was actually thinking. So, awesome. So, does anybody want to go describe their tradition first?
I would.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that whenever one of the sort of governing bodies of one of the tribes wants to communicate with another one, they don't send intermediaries or anything. They go directly to the elders and have them commune the message through this super network of all the different totems.
Oh.
And that's their kind of like main broad scale messaging
Oh, they
system.
use the data banks. They
Yes.
talk to the data banks, and the data banks
They
confer the
talk to
message.
the elder confers to the data bank, meets with the other ones, and then it just sort of passes around to all the different tribes.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Passing info. Oh man, that's cool. Elders commune with databanks, passing info. Zethar, would you like to go or should I go?
You can go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna go with what's obvious here, and when you die, or what I should say is heroes slash dignitaries, I guess, of our culture. So a subset, like the upper echelon of our society, get to they get to basically sync with the databanks. Why is it only the upper class, like the privileged get it? I don't know, but it's the privileged class of our society that get to join here.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to sync with our databanks.
Okay.
Joining their ancestors.
I like that. So on education, what I was thinking is that everyone has kind of like their old. It's kind of like those 1950s movies of duck and cover for nuclear blasts. It's like this old, outdated information that has no relevance whatsoever to the outside world.
Oh, it could be like crew training videos left over from the ship's
Yes,
databanks. Yes.
exactly.
Holy shit, that's amazing!
Yes. Welcome to your new life aboard the ISS whatever.
Please, in your cabin, you should find a life vest. This is how
It's the Soviet life vest.
if the ship should ever land in water, like
Pray.
so we should. What do we call it? Flight training videos.
Yeah, yeah.
Slash documentation. No, yeah, videos, flight training videos. Leftover. Love it. Cool. So now we get to rotate. So I'm actually going to come up with Nick's symbol. Zethar, you're going to come up with my symbol. And Nick, you're going to come up with Zethar's symbol. Okay? I got mine.
Oh, I know one.
So this one, the way the elders communicate with the databanks is that they have a special card that gets inserted into a databank that lets them get basically like admin access.
Okay.
So they basically have like the key that gets them into it, and it's like incredibly revered to have this key. Once again, pretty obvious, or no, I'm fine with that.
All right.
Unless, does somebody have anybody want to riff on that idea that I have?
I kind of do, and I think it kind of ties into
Yeah.
what I was going to be doing with death. Upon death, you receive kind of like you lose your original color card, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and you get like a new one, like one that's like blank or one that's like white or something like that. And then like basically it represents your status upon doing that, and I guess I don't know, maybe it's like a way of like marking somebody's grave or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like stacks and stacks of these like blank ID cards or something. No, I'm not liking that.
Should the elders literally have like a plug-in port to the data jack? Like, do they are they like the last ones to have access to this?
Or maybe it's like a biological access thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was thinking like cyberpunk,
Some kind of
like
neural link.
Oh, like an
neural
actual
link,
like
yeah.
jack.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. You should do that because they could braid it like hair or something and have it be almost a sort of fashion statement. That'd be cool.
hmm No, I'm not happy with the death one that I came up with. I'm gonna try and think a little bit more.
Okay,
If
well
you
I
have
have
something
mine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some really old sort of retro future projectors, like the kind you might find in Fallout. Just very clunky, old, very heavy metal things that they kind of just set up on whatever they've got and project onto like a canyon wall or something to play the recorded footage.
Yeah. Projectors. Oh, I love it. It reminds me of Mad Max when they have the kitty kaleidoscope thing, and I think it's the third
Yeah.
one. I
Yeah.
know, that's
Yes.
really obscure
Yeah.
reference, but that's what I'm think. That's what
No,
I think
no, it
of.
works.
Yeah, exactly. Click, click, click. Yeah.
Yeah. When they see planes that they fly. Um. So Zethro, let's work on let's figure this out. What do you want to do?
Death and cowardice. Death and cowardice. Hmm. Let's see.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's a
What do you got?
literal. No, I'm sorry. I was actually thinking of mine and how it ties into cowardice. It's a literal data jack because they're afraid that other people can hear what they're thinking or like communing with them. So it's like a private message.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rethink mine. Erase mine real quick. I have to rethink this now.
Yeah, we have to consider the flaw. I think we're
Yeah, I
getting
gotta
so
consider
excited
it
that we weren't considering the flaw.
Yeah, more heavily.
Death and cowardice. I guess maybe the way that we we take people who are older is they're killed in a cowardly way, maybe?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
Leafington. They all they do is watch reruns of Seinfeld for education. So when they curse, they say Newman.
Newman! Festivus is their only holiday. Oh, they dress up the totems for Festivus. All right. Man, education cowardice. Ooh, that's hard.
No, I mean, I think that works still because you're still it ties into being afraid of trying new things.
Yeah, it does. I
Or
want to
being
go
afraid of losing who you are or who you
right.
were, right?
It's a fear of losing that culture. It's a cowardice to not move forward and to just take
Yeah.
technology off the ship. But I wanted to go more in depth with it since you added that other layer to the data jack.
Okay.
I'll keep thinking over this, but don't like.
Yeah.
Death and cowardice. Death and cowardice.
Well, I think, I mean, it could kind of tie in with the way the elders commune, is that they have a limited amount of time to like, basically. No. I was thinking, how does somebody without a data jack get one so they can be plugged in and working something like that? But I don't know how that really ties in with cowardice.
Not necessarily.
What's weird is that we're doing a flaw for cowardice, and I selected heroes and dignitaries, people in it. Let me look at the book while we're thinking of something.
Death and cowardice. Death and cowardice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that, like, society doesn't even look at the person who's about to die. Like, funerals are just a solitary kind of thing.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. No one wants to acknowledge who might have died because they don't want to face the harsh reality that maybe someone great died.
Ooh, yeah.
So they
Yeah.
kind of just brush over and gloss over the funeral.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's like super routine, like clinical.
maybe a bunch of random entities end up in the databanks simply because people are too afraid to bother with them.
Everyone denies that death happens. Interesting.
Well, not even denies it. They're not willing to.
So kind of like the giver, basically.
Yes, they're not willing to acknowledge either who died or why they're dying or where they're going. They're just gone. It's just
And we're
a-
just happy they're joining our ancestors or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's just a general avoidance
So-
of the concept
so-
altogether.
What happened to Phil? Oh, he joined the Ancestors. Okay.
Yeah, he joined the ancestors.
Right, like, when? Oh, it's
Fantastic.
not important,
Yeah.
right?
We gave
Yeah.
him his blank card. He's gone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. They're too afraid to own up to the fact someone dies, so All right.
I like that.
No, I like the idea that we subvert the so majorly originally the process is that heroes and like the privileged get it, but like so we don't really ever know because it's kind of always in
Yeah,
shadow
we
of who
hope the
gets it.
heroes get
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
we don't know
we're
why.
not willing to know that we put like a murderer in there, so no one bothers to check
Oh
because
man.
no one wants to acknowledge death.
Yeah, there we go. That's
So
how society breaks down.
you could end up with a bunch of rogue elements in the system, and you would never
hmm
know.
Oh hell yeah.
hmm
Loving it. Good symbols, guys.
There we go.
Good symbols. So now we come up with the name of the haven.
I've been thinking about this, but mine's
Oh,
kind of cheesy.
that is tough. What we got?
What are you thinking of cheesy?
Well, because it maybe not cheesy, but it's very on the nose. Because I was thinking of calling it Iroquois Canyon after the Iroquois Confederacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a bit on the nose. So,
Was the ship called the Iroquois?
oh,
Yes.
there's an idea. Yeah.
I like the idea of it being called something named after the ship, but I feel like the ship should have a cool name.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Should have something like I don't know. I wish I was cool because like I could come up with some or like I wish I knew more like Halo lore. Like I feel like Halo has really good names for ships. Like the Pillar of Autumn is a fucking awesome name for a ship. I don't even
What
care.
about, like,
Come fight me.
What
if you
about the
disagree.
something SS Antilles after like the West and
Antilles?
yeah, the
Um,
Loose Archipelago, which then
Greek-
gets reflected in the canyon.
let's see. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking too literal. I'm not going for rule of cool here.
For some reason, I'm just thinking of Greek mythology, like the seven
Yeah.
layers of the
Also
underworld.
works.
But
Ooh.
no, that just seems cliche.
Well, see, that's the problem. The obvious thing is you want to go with something cliche that fits the fragmentation
Yeah.
there.
Um,
Hmm. hmm
Neo Titanic. Yeah, unsinkable too.
Yes. Oh, the USS Hubris. There we go.
What does this button do?
It deploys the life vest for when you land in the water safely.
I'm looking up famous archipelagos.
Hmm.
How about Novaya Zemlya? Or Zemlya?
No,
Belcher Islands.
is it?
Hold on, I'll just post it. And
So are we trying to go for, well, I guess the better question is, are we just going for rule of cool, or do we want to do something that's more like on point for what happened, or
Oh no,
like
whatever. It's full of cool.
all right. So
It's,
if we're
it's
doing
how we
rule-
refer to our society. Even if it's how we as members of society refer to our society.
yeah.
then I would guess, how about the Confederacy of blah 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 ship?
Not even ship, just a name, because
Yeah, the name of the
theoretically
ship,
the
yeah.
name would be pulled from the ship.
Yeah.
And maybe the ship should reflect something about the status of the people that came over before that's, being echoed by the culture. So maybe it's, I don't know, the Farseer or something. Like something that the previous culture
Okay.
named it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
It's
yeah.
a colonization ship.
Right.
So- New Eden? There's an idea. Or New Zion.
Are we doing
Yeah,
it? Are we doing it
or
literally
Terra.
from Earth?
Well, there's another question. I don't know. We just picked a culture. We don't even know if these are technically humans.
Well, it's like a terraforming ship, so something Terra? I don't know.
Terra Nova works.
Terra Nova.
I was
Terra
thinking.
Nova.
Yeah, I was thinking the pride of something
Ooh.
Yeah.
because I feel like that's a ship thing that people do, like the pride of New Orleans or something like that, or like the pride of.
The Pride of Soul, as in SOL, as in
Yeah.
the old star.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
Our old solar system, yep.
so then do we call people soldiers?
um,
Awesome, the pride of soul. So they're so the pride for short, or
and that's a little pun. Soul,
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah. I didn't even intend that.
yeah. Or in
But that
really,
works.
really though, we're the soulless, which
Oh.
is pretty good. Awesome. It's cool. So it's 9:55, which means we're just getting up to our first break, which makes since the next part we're gonna make our characters and stuff like that. Let's just do that when we all get back together. So 8 minutes, guys, and then we'll be back with more Once Upon a Game where we're playing Downfall.